Hi. Hi. Many companies need to go to considerable length to protect their inventory because there are so many control activities that can be put in place to control your inventories. Maybe, for example, guards, putting guards on the door before anyone enters into your premises where inventory is kept. Things like electronic alarms, things like surveillance cameras. If it is jewelries, you have to maybe put glasses, things like air condition, fire alarms. But before you do that, you have to look at your budget, the cost and benefit. What is the benefit of putting maybe fire alarm or guards, and then the disadvantages, or what we can call the costs, right? So in essence, what you'll have to do, you have to look at, first of all, the nature, the diversity of the inventories that you are selling. In most cases, you find that people have different inventories which they could be keeping in their business activities simply because they're trying to hedge or cover up overhead costs, right? So look into aspects like the nature of your products that you are selling or you are manufacturing or reselling. Is it easy to identify? Are they things like fridges, things like vehicle, meaning that you need a fire alarm or a guard? Is it items like which are hard to identify? For example, things like let's talk about chemicals, maybe precious stones, etc., etc. What are you going to use? Are you then, if it for example it's precious stones, you have to put things like surveillance cameras, and then you also put guards because those are expensive items that you're selling, and people can easily steal them without your identification because they are small, they are hard to identify. Then you also look at the location of your warehouses or your business activities. Are they in different locations? Are they in just one place? You have to look at all those factors. Are they multiple warehouses that I do have, which my inventory is being kept? Then you also look at the permanency of the products that you are selling or you are manufacturing. Is it fresh products? If they are fresh products, then you have to look at the best control activities that you will put in place as we are going to be discussing them. Are they expiring? Are they expiring the products that you are selling? For example, medicines. Of course, you're gonna also look into all those aspects, but don't forget the fact of cost and the benefit because that is the overall factor here that first of all made you to actually open up that business and handle inventories. Then also the stage of development. Which stage of development is your inventory or your products that you are manufacturing? Is it in the manufacturing? Is it in the work in progress? Or is it raw materials? Look into all those aspects. But the important and basic thing here is you do have to have some control activities. Watch out on the documents that we have to use to help us let these control activities go in order, and how they're supposed to manage our inventory. Thank you. The documents that we can use while we are dealing with inventory management, or whether production, resale, or manufacturing. First and foremost, let's know what are the advantages or the functions of managing our inventory. Of course, under that, we are going to be protecting our inventory from things like damage, loss, and theft. And those are the things that can happen each and every time, regardless of or whether the inventory is being manufactured or it is for resale, right? Inventory management is also going to help us to plan, control, and record the costs, which is very important because when you do not record your costs, then you're going to be running at a loss, which we do not want. Hence, looking at the documents that are going to help us to get through our inventory management successfully. And then also it's going to help us to control the physical transfer of our inventory, because if you do not physically control the transfer of the inventory, it's going to be ran at a loss. Those are the risks we find, that you could produce your items or inventory, let's call them products, and then they are all stolen. They don't go into your store for resale or for sale. So some of the documents that we have to use, number one is a goods received note. We do have to have a goods received note, whether you are in a manufacturing business or you are in a retail or resale businesses. This is used in the inventory and production cycle, and it helps us to look at the transfer from the goods receiving to the warehouse, or from the time you receive the goods into your business. You have to have someone who is going to be signing. For example, talk at the maybe warehouse clerk or salesperson to sign the items which were received. That means that you do have the segregation of duty, that if something is stolen or you cannot see it when goods were received, you'll have someone to ask a specific person that Maya or this person, come, we did receive these items, but we have less. You'll have somewhere to track them from. Most of us do have businesses, and we do not even take these things into consideration. You receive the items, and then yeah, they just get in hand. Maybe it's your friend who is delivering, right? So you'll be like, anyway, it's my friend. No, in business we do not have things like friend or whatever. Friend is on another page, and then business is on another page. Be it your friend, your family member who is delivering those items, please do have a goods received note where to sign. And then also those people will have a delivery note. They have delivered, and then you also sign the delivery note and then the goods received note. Then we do have what we call the materials requisition and then materials issue note, right? If it is a warehouse, definitely, let me just pass this. Like, when it comes to the materials requisition, you'll find that some businesses, maybe you are producing curtains, etc., etc. Let's talk about curtains in that aspect. Then most people do not take it serious that they have to separate a warehouse or a production area with a sales area. And then when it comes to that, they will not even have a material requisition note or a material issue note. When someone comes in and requests for the materials that they are going to use in the production process, please take it very serious that they do sign a material requisition. What did they request for? What are they going to do? Is it in the jobs card? Is it in the schedule for that day? Right? So that when they bring them back, you know what did they issue, right? Because they have signed the materials requisition, what they have requested for, and then also you sign the issue notes. I'm giving you these items, please take them for production, right? It's going to help us to track our inventory, and then also theft will be on a limited basis because someone will know that, look, my boss uh, made me sign a requisition note, right? So the person is going to be in control of those items. Then we do have number 3, the manufacturing or production schedule. It's going to notify what is to be produced, and then you will also have to decide what to be produced on the analysis. Like, you have to analyze the future sales. How much are we able to sell? How is our business moving now, right? What is the season? Is it winter? Is it summer, right? So you look at the production, and then you're going to use the manufacturing or production schedules, right? So you look at the current inventory. How much do we have? How much sales are expected? Which orders do we have? Then you will be able to do a production schedule, right? So every business should have that, unless a business is too small that you're going to track those items, let's say 1,000 down, right? But if a business is on a large scale, whatever business is it, whether it's a bakery, whether it is a you're maybe tailoring, curtains at a large or medium scale, you have to have the production schedule. It's very, very important. I can't emphasize this enough, because you find such businesses, let's say a curtain, they are manufacturing those or tailoring those curtains, and then they will have the production inside the same place, right? Be it a warehouse somewhere in a corner, and then the sales is that side. So someone will just come and then take the materials, the meters of the items, and then do the tailoring, put them into cells. How are you going to be able to track that I gave out these items and this is what happened? Let's take an example. You gave out those items, the materials, you do not have a schedule that you are looking at. How are you going to be able to track? Let's say it's a bakery, and someone took maybe 10 cartons, of flour, and then maybe one of it, while they were baking, it burnt. How are you going to track that what they brought back is correct? Then we do have job cards. These job cards, they help us track the stages of production for a specific job, right? In our job, we'll have stages, right? Is it on the production side, like we've just got the raw materials? Is it on in the work in progress? Is it in the finished good? So you have to look at those aspects. And when it comes to the job cards, they are going to help us how much hours we are being put. Don't just get people and then they sit into the business when they are not going to produce. It's very important for us to minimize the overheads of our business. So when you have those job cards, you will know that maybe if, let's say, there are curtains, you bring in people, they do that job, you've calculated the hours on the job card. When they finish to do their work, they go out. That is called outsourcing. They come in. Okay, let's say that it's a business that you do on a continual basis, that you're not going to be just outsourcing, like just in time, meaning that you will have the person there, maybe out of the business, but you call them whenever is needed, does the business and goes. That way, we are also reducing on our costs of the business. We are reducing on our overheads of the business. So these job cards are going to help us to see the hours which were put in, the raw materials which were used while we were manufacturing those items, or in this essence, we are calling them inventory. Then we also do have the production report. Please, you should have a production report. It's used to report results of production, output, wastage, loss. I'm not going to give so much examples here because I already talked about the bakery burnt out outputs, right? So you will know, even if it's clothes, like it's production, cloth production, what if they are wastes and are load? Someone will just pack them and then throw them in the dustbin. You will not even know because you don't have these records. That's why these documents are very important. Things like goods received note, raw materials, material requisition, material issue note, etc., like we're talking about them. So you should also have a production report. Under that, we're going to also have the costing schedule. Those who have just joined, please, discussing about the documents that we can use while we are doing inventory management, right? So right now we are on the costing schedule. And please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share my video so that we improve on our financial literacy. So when it comes to costing schedule, how is it going to help us? As you hear, the word is costing, right? It's going to help you to quantify these costs, like how much do we need in general, our costs, like the general costs we need, be it electricity. It's going to be an overhead, but my dear, in some businesses, it is, where they use machinery, it is also at an expense. Maybe most of the people know, but there are some people who take their businesses for granted and they be like, electricity, how much did I use? I don't know. The transport. Let's say you are in a real estate business and you don't even know how much people need for, let's say, petrol to be transported to the sites for inspecting your land. Maybe customers do need to inspect. You need those items, please. So we're gonna need the costing schedule. If it is real estate, maybe you are in building and construction, right? You're gonna please know the costing schedule so that when you are building, you don't end up being in the middle and then all the items are finished and you don't have the money, everything is done. Just of recent, I had that coincidence where someone got a job when it was in construction. This person did not plan, they did not have a costing schedule, they did not have anything. At the end of the day, these things ended in the middle. Right now, the project is stuck because even the person who measured the items didn't measure them correctly. Okay, let's leave alone that of the correctness. But they did not have a cost schedule, they did not have a job card. So someone just comes and then say, you're going to build this, we are going to build here. Whether they have finished or not, they have done the building and you have to pay. So to avoid all that, you're going to have all these. When I talk about inventory, I not only talk about products, like there are different things which we do give out. It can be a service, it can be an inventory, it can be a school that you are running a school, but you do have inventory in the canteen, all right? You are selling those things. You should have all these things, please. Have these documents into place. They are going to help you so well. Then also we're going to have the transfer note. of the finished goods. Now these goods have been finished. Let's say the curtains or the bakery. Now you are transferring them to the selling section. We're gonna have that transfer to finished goods note, and you note them down. Don't just have only one book and you say, okay, I'm writing down. There are reasons why they are accountants and they do study accounting, all right, or business management. So do not have just one book and you record sales, expenses, everything in one place, the transfer, the materials, everything. They are going to confuse you. They are going to confuse you. That's why most businesses are closing down, but they don't know why. Because of inventory management. People are not managing their inventory. So when we're transferring our finished goods, please note them down from production to the finished goods store. Note them down, please, because that is where we will be also looking at the markup price, like how much are we going to sell them. Of course, we'll also be tackling that, like how do we price those goods? Are you just going to price? Are you going to look to the competitor's price? Is it a new product on sale? Is it a new product in store? How do you deal with it when you are pricing these items? Then we also have the picking up slip and then the delivery note. I already spoke about the delivery note in the beginning. Right, when they are delivering the items, you're gonna sign, and then someone will also have a goods receipt note. But now, when it comes to the picking up slip, look, in the era we are in, most of the things are running online, so you're gonna need these things. Someone is picking up the item to take it to the customer. Please let them sign. Otherwise, people are gonna tell you, I delivered these and then they didn't buy. I brought them back to the store. Right? Let them have the who picked up the item. That one is the segregation of duties. This person is handling this, and then I will ask this person whenever something is short or something is falling out, right? So we're going to have the pickup slip because it's going to be used to select the goods ordered. Someone ordered the goods from the warehouse or from the store, the finished goods store. You're going to have that and then sign it. I know most of the people in the first world, they do have these things. Maybe developed countries, they do have, but most of our countries in Africa, they do not take this seriously. Most people actually, or some people, do not take this seriously, and they are running good businesses which can really prosper and take them to their dreams. So please, let's do not hesitate and follow these guidances. Then we do have inventory sheet. Okay, the last three, I'm not going to talk about them so much. The inventory sheets, the inventory tag, and then also the inventory adjustment form. Because I need to make a topic about counting. How do we count our inventory? That is also a whole lot of topic on its own. Like, you count your inventory, maybe you say twice a year, then you will know the items you do have into your store. Please do use these ones to help us manage our inventory. It is very, very important to manage the inventory, because people will come in and then steal your goods. You will not even know, right? You will not know if you do not have security tags on your goods. They just come in and then they go. Easy controls. Let's not actually call them easy because they are very important. Having 2 doors in your store, entry and exit, but definitely depends on the size of your store, right? Let's say medium. Now we're talking about medium and then large businesses. You're gonna have an entry and then the exit. So please look out, and then our documents we've spoken about, which you should have to help you into inventory management, because we don't want our businesses to close down. We don't want our business to run into loss or to run at a loss. Look, you will have this blind vision of, I'm making so much sales. Let's say you're making 1 million rand sales a day or 1 million shilling sales a day. But do you know how much is your net profit? Because it's also important. Have you looked at the sales, or let's say revenue, and then you removed the cost of sales, and then you removed your expenses to reach at the net profit. By the time you reach at your net profit, my dear, you only see losses and you don't even know where those losses are coming from. Here, we are avoiding that, and we will avoid it through learning all this and implementing this. For now, bye bye. Please do not hesitate and try to implement these steps which I've been teaching here. Bye bye.